Hey there, my name is John Hart, and my mother, Margarita Hart, has asked me to coach kids jiu-jitsu at her soon-to-be nano school. And I agreed because I want to see this thing succeed. I want it to be around when I have kids, hopefully the not too distant future, and because I believe in it. I believe in what she's trying to do. This is what she should have been doing for the last 10 years, in my opinion. So I want to support that in any way I can, and if she thinks this will help, I will do it. However, I would like any parent who is considering having their kid do jiu-jitsu with me to watch this video first in full, please. I really want to set some expectations very clearly about who I am, why I do this, and what you can expect for your kid to get or not get out of it, and just generally over-communicate expectations. First, why you may wish to have me coach your kid in grappling. I guess first about grappling. The first, best, and most important reason for anyone to participate in grappling is because it can be a source of great joy. If it's something that calls to you, if it's in you, you may be leaving a lot of joy on the table, never having tried it. It can be a very meaningful thing in a person's life that gives them great community solace, and beyond that, a sense of confidence, a sense of purpose, a sense of something to strive at and grow with. And it adds a lot more weight behind your no and your kids' no, if and when they ever need to say that. And I hate the term self-defense because good decisions is what keeps you safe, and no martial art beats multiple attackers or a weapon or anything else. The many things, what keeps you safe is good decision making. However, in the unlikely and extremely unfortunate situation where your child would ever have to physically defend themselves, I mean, it is a staggering, overwhelming advantage in an unarmed one-on-one conflict to be a trained grappler. It's almost unbelievable at times. So it has all of that going for it. Beyond that, it is not necessarily by any means, but it can be a vehicle for self-development. I started martial arts about 10 years ago, and I'll tell you, I like me a heck of a lot more now than I did then, by miles. It's done wonderful things in my life. It's given me friends all over the world. It's been a great, great boon in my life, and it might be that for your child too. Here are the reasons that you may not wish to have your child train grappling with me, and this is the main reason I'm making this video. The first is that it is a combat sport. Yes, it's a sport. Yes, you can compete in it. You score points, and these things matter as a vehicle for actually testing out what we can do under pressure. That matters. But combat's the first word in that. Combat is an inversion of everything else we do in life, okay? We tell our kids, hey, share. Be gentle. Don't be violent, you know? And all these other many, many things that I will invert, okay? And I mean that directly. Like, I'm going to tell your kid, be violent. I'm going to tell your kid, be mean. I'm going to tell your kid, be selfish. And if you're uncomfortable with that, don't send them to me, please. Because that is what you do on the mats. It's not normal life. It's a microcosm of combat. And in combat, we are meant to be violent, aggressive, domineering, entitled, selfish, greedy, and every other bad thing you can think of. These are virtues in a combat situation. And I personally have this whole long thing on chivalry and how it really means to be both sides of a coin and be the most of yourself in opposite directions and to the nth degree. And like, I won't talk about that too much, but suffice to say, like, if you're uncomfortable with me telling your kid, get mean, get aggressive, be violent, don't send them to me. That's the first thing. The second thing is that coaching grapplers has been some of the greatest joys and privileges in my life. I have my own place right now. I teach a small class. I got seven guys right now, and I make no money at it practically, and I don't need it. And I'm pretty sure I'm doing this for free for y'all, and that's fine because it's a joy and a privilege to coach people that care and try. And as a result, I have no tolerance for people who don't. None. I'm not here to babysit your kid. I'm not here for them to have, you know, some fun stand in a line, do acrobatics thing. I'm not there for that, man. I'm the wrong guy. If you want your kid to learn how to grab a hold of other people and against their will, throw them to the ground, control them, and then strangle them, that's what I'm teaching, okay? And if that sounds too intense for you, don't send me your kids. I remember, so I have very mixed feelings on coaching kids in general. Rafaelo Oliveira, the guy that owns Housing Jiu-Jitsu in Mount Pleasant, I coach his competition kids when he's out of town often. And I'll never forget, I was coaching single leg takedowns, and this little girl, 9 years old, we start him in the single, and she gets sprawled on by this bigger boy, Wiley. He's 13, outweighs her maybe 30 pounds, like a third of her body weight. She immediately gets sprawled on because she had bad head position. And she's holding on with both arms, and she's completely extended. And you can see her wanting to give up, just wanting to give in. And I start coaching her. I'm like, do not quit. Slide your knee in. Get your head out from under him. Get your posture up. And I swear to God, this girl, she starts sliding her knee in, and she starts making this noise, and she comes up, and she's got actual freaking tears streaming down her face, and she screams as she gets this kid up, gets her head out, turns the corner, turns into a double leg, puts this kid down, gets him off of her, and she gets there and she screams. And I will never forget that moment, because I saw that kid get 1% tougher for the rest of her life. And it meant something to me. And that's where I'm going with this. This stuff means something to me. I'm not messing around. I'm not here to babysit your kids. And in short, I will kick them out very quickly if they are not paying attention, if they are inattentive, if they are lazy, if they are timid. You know, I will try to draw the best out of these things out of them. But if we're like 3 classes in and this is who they are and this is who they want to be and they're showing no progress towards otherwise, don't expect me to continue. I can't. I have no tolerance for that. So I hope this didn't come on too strong, but I would rather shock you now versus when you have your kid on the mats with me. So yeah, I hope that helps. If anyone has any questions or any concerns, please let me know. I guess the other thing is that you should be aware that it is a combat sport. Dings and injuries and these things are inevitable. Interestingly enough, we have a much, much, much less profound injury rate than women's high school soccer. But the little scrapes, bruises, dings, mat burn, rashes, black eyes, these things are more common. So your kid's very unlikely to get a broken shin, broken bone, etc. Although these things happen. However, them getting black eyes, bloody lips, these things, it is inevitable at some point. Make peace with that if you want them to train a combat sport. Thanks for listening. I realize this was a long video, but I felt it was important to set expectations.